Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday. You are making it your way through the week, and I hope you're being blessed. I'm Michael Haffa, the lead pastor of the Piedmont Park Seventh-day Adventist Church. Just wanted to share a thought with you to try to encourage you through the week. I'm hanging out in the book of Daniel. I got inspired by Vacation Bible School this year to hang out with Daniel for a while, and so looking at Daniel chapter 3, very famous chapter in the Bible, great story. Kids love the story, but it's a great story for adults too. It's the story of the fiery furnace and Daniel's friends who are there dealing with a very impossible situation. They're in a foreign land, and the king decides that he wants to see who is on his side and who isn't. So he builds this giant statue and says, all right, when the music plays, all the government officials bow down to the statue. Daniel's friends no, they can't do that. Second commandment saying not to worship idols, not to bow down to them. So everybody bows down except for these three guys. And of course, word comes back to the king, and he's so upset. But he gives them a second chance, and he says, hey, you guys come in. Maybe you didn't understand this, but when the music plays, down you go. And their reply is not going to do it. It's pretty amazing. What would you say in that position? Well, the king gets hot, and so he decides to make the fire hot, throws the three Hebrew boys into the fire, all bound and everything tied up. And I love this verse after he does that. It says in verse 25, he says, look, I see four men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they're not hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. How amazing, huh? They go into the fire, but they don't go alone. And friends, that's what I wanted to remind you about in your life. Trials will come, fiery trials will come, persecutions, all those things can happen in our lives, but we don't go through them alone. God was right there with them. He kept them safe. They walked out of the fire. They didn't even smell like smoke. That was a miracle. I'm sure it changed their lives, but it also changed the king too. He realized that, whoa, there is no other God who can deliver like this. So God was reaching out and speaking even to a pagan king at this time. And he took care of his people. Now you might ask, how did these guys have the faith to do that? Well, the story of a government setting up an image, forcing people to bow down to it, that is what John uses when he writes Revelation. And he is using allusions back to Daniel when he talks about the image of the beast and the mark of the beast about the end of time. And many people ask, how can I have the faith at the end of time to stand up for God? And the answer, I think John would say, is look back to Daniel in the Old Testament. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they chose to be faithful to God in small things. Like in chapter 1, they said, no, we're not going to eat from the king's table. We're going to make healthy choices. They chose to follow God in the easy time. And he increased their faith, and he gave them faith to follow God when it was life or death. So friends, don't worry about the future choices of faith. Just choose God today in faith. These small choices of faith will build and grow our faith so that we can stand the trials that may come in the future in our lives. So friends, take care. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I hope you'll join us for worship this coming Saturday here at Piedmont Park. We have Bible study time at 9:30 for all ages, and we have our worship time starting at 11, and I'm excited to continue our sermon series in Acts. We're getting close to the end, but we're not there yet. Hope you'll join us. Hope to see you there. Take care, everyone, and let's take care of everyone.